Hello everyone, how's it going? I didn't have any kind of plan to do this tonight, but I was out walking. I went all the way down to the train station. This is actually Saijo Station on the Sanyo line, the JR line. I guess you could say kind of to the east-northeast of Hiroshima City. And I walked here from my house after taking a kind of a long walk around. Pardon me if I don't look at the camera right now, but I'm going down the stairs. I don't want to fall. But basically, while I was walking, I decided that I would go ahead and do my update on the Akiya, the unoccupied house that I looked at several weeks ago, but had a meeting about. After that, I'm going to go this way. Anyway, I apologize for me being a little distracted, just trying to figure out which way to go from here because I'm going a different way than I went earlier, but I think I've got it figured out. Anyway, here's a quick update. I want to give you some details because I'm not even sure exactly where to start, but I didn't want to sit down and just make a detailed list. I don't want to do anything that's too mechanical or linear or whatever. I would rather just kind of tell you what popped into my mind about the house, what I learned about the house, and what I've decided to do. And I figure those are the most important points. So here we go. And by the way, if you have any questions about any of this process, then feel free to let me know because I'd be more than willing to answer your questions as best I can. Anyway, so here's the short, I guess you could say, version of what's going on with the house right now. I have signed a contract to buy it. So I'm very excited about that. That's the big news. The big news is I am committed to buying this house, and I just feel right about it. I've looked at so many, and it just so happens that this one happened, it's just not too far from where I already live. And once I get some wheels, and I don't mean my bicycle, I mean like a motorcycle or a car, something like that, it'll be much easier to get to. It will also make it easier to get around to other, to my work. And once I get it to where I can live in it. But I am looking for another position, and I've been applying for some alt positions at some schools. Well, through some companies that are connected to some schools, and I got a response from one of them earlier today. So I'm hoping that they'll place me somewhere close to my house. That would be awesome. But as it stands right now, I'm still around here, working here for now. But check this out. Let me give you some more detail. You didn't watch this video to get information about my working situation. So here it is. I went to see the house, and you can see in my videos the walkthrough of the house, but I didn't really do any type of update on what happened there. And that's kind of the first thing I wanted to talk to you about. But I did want to get out of the way that I signed a contract to buy the house. Now, as I start to tell you about when I went to see the house, you're probably going to think immediately, oh, that's a little crazy. Why would you do that? You'll get that answer too. Hang on just a second. Anyway, the agent who's in charge of this particular house, and for those of you who don't know, you can go through the municipal government bank, Akiya Bank, if you want to find a house, which I have. I've looked and I registered there, and I have made some friends there, and they've been very helpful. But they didn't have anything available that I could look at that was in my price range. So I kept looking around, and that's when I found this particular house, which was still a little higher than I wanted, and I didn't have enough money to buy it. But I thought, you know, if it's been on the market for a while, maybe I can save up over a period of several months and then buy it later. Well, some good things happened in a crazy kind of way. I met the agent, which is actually very close to where I am right now, right down the street from here. And he told me at first the house is too old, it's not in good condition. And even in his email, when I sent him an email, he said the kitchen is going to have to be completely redone. It doesn't really have a usable toilet. And basically the bathtub, the toilet, and the urinal, yes, it has a urinal. A lot of these old houses do for some strange reason. But he said they're all in different locations, so that would have to be redone. And he said those are the two main things. And he thinks that because the house has been empty for like 25 years, it's just too much for anyone to do. And of course, it's too expensive to tear down. Nobody's going to want to tear all of that down and throw everything away because the cost would be so high. By the time they get, do all of that just to build a new house, it's cheaper just to get a blank piece of land somewhere else or buy a newer house. So, anyway, I want to stop right here just for a second. There's some people standing at the crossroads. I don't want to bother them. Anyway, we went. He did agree to take me to the house. He basically reluctantly took me to see it. He didn't really want to take me to see it, but I pushed him, please, to take me, or at least tell me how I could go see it. And he not only agreed to show it to me, but he drove me out there, which is really cool because there is no easy way to get all the way out there unless you pay a taxi driver to take you. It is possible to take a bus most of the way out there, but from the bus station to the house, it's about a 45-minute walk. And if I could put my bicycle on the train or on the bus, it wouldn't be that big of a deal, but my bike is very big and does not fold up. So it was very cool of him to take me out there. He took 3 hours of his time to take me out there and show me around. And that's the video that you saw. The two videos that I posted are from the same trip when I went to see the house. But what you don't know is that outside of the main house, there are several storage buildings. Well, really, 3 of them are storage buildings. One of them is like a bath house. It has a bathtub in it, an old-style bathtub that's heated with fire. That's pretty cool, but the second and smaller storage building on the right side of the house, whenever we went to go inside to check it out, I fell through the floor. And luckily, I only scraped my hands a little bit, but it created such a hole in the floor, I couldn't get out. So he had to reach down and grab me and pull me out. So I'm glad that he was there. It would have been very difficult for me to get out. So essentially, the floor was like dried potato chips. I mean, it was so thin and crispy. It was ridiculous. It was really crappy. Not at all like the condition of the house. The house inside was very solid, had a great roof on it. The roof on the house right now is not the original roof. It actually has its original roof underneath, so it has 2 roofs on it. The original, you can see it underneath, and then on top is a copper, what they call a thatched copper roof. It's very smooth, and it's actually kind of steep. You can see in the video and the pictures that it's a little steep, but that copper roof is in excellent condition. And I can sit down for a minute and wait for the light. It's in excellent condition, and when I was inside the house, I didn't see any water damage anywhere. So that's really, really good. Obviously, I can't see the foundations very easily. I would have to pull up some tatami, and that house has a lot of tatami mats. It's, once again, if you saw the video, you can see that there's lots and lots of tatami throughout the whole house. if there's a way to pull up one of the mats and get under the floor to look at the foundation, that would be nice. But like I said, I've already committed to buy, because just based on what I saw, I felt like it was a really good deal. But there's more to the story, okay? The original listing price for this house was 1.2 million yen, and in dollars, it's about 11,000, a little more maybe than $11,000. So whenever we saw it, like I told you, it was already way out of the range where I really wanted to buy, and I couldn't buy it right now. I wanted to try to find something around like $5,000, $6,000, something like that, maybe. I know, which sounds crazy, but it is doable. It's just very, very challenging and time-consuming to find one that is not only cheap, but in a decent location and is in decent enough condition to fix up. However, even though I fell through the floor in this particular house, that house itself was not in such condition. So whenever we came back to the agent's office, he called the owner and he talked to the owner about the condition of the house. And he said, this asking price that you have is way too high. The house is just in ridiculous condition. He told me that, or he told him that I had fallen through the floor. And because of that information and the update of the agent about the condition of the house, he agreed to mark it down. So he gave me essentially a 75% discount. That's correct. He marked it down to less than $3,000. Pretty crazy, huh? So the final asking price was 300,000 yen. Very cool, right? It's about $2,700. Can you imagine buying a house for $2,700? It's pretty crazy. So I thought, for this price, I must get the house. I must get it. It's 1,000 square meters for the land, and it's all residential land, no agricultural farmland, so I don't have to worry about that. If you don't know about that, that's another issue you have to worry about when you're buying a house like this in Japan. If you buy something with agricultural land, you have to get approval for that, because if you're just some city schmuck who's never had any experience with that, and you don't have any kind of credentials about using farmland, then it can be very difficult to buy that type of land in Japan. They just won't sell it to you. And if you want to get it rezoned into residential land so that you can buy it or whatever, it's difficult to do so. It can be done, but I've seen a lot about it, and luckily this land is not farmland, or agricultural land. It's just the plain old residential land. So the total price, he being the agent, went ahead and drew up all the documents to let me know what the total price would be. And this would include registration fees, for example, registering the land in my name, and paying the taxes on the land. The house essentially has no value according to the government. It's too old, so it doesn't have any value, but they do tax on the value of the land. So with the contract fees, the agent commission, the house price, the sales tax or whatever, the registration fees, the land tax fees, and all of those things. I don't know the exact terminology for all that, but everything itemized together comes out to 560,000 yen. That's around or right under $5,000. So pretty cool. So the house and the land and all of the taxes and fees and everything, and agent commission, everything inclusive, about $5,000 essentially. So that's pretty cool. Don't you think so? And after he gave that to me, I had about 10 days to think it over and decide, tell them yay or nay, or I could have made a counter offer too. But there's some things about the house. Like I said, I haven't told you everything because I've been busy with other things, but it does bring to mind something about the house because a couple of friends of mine here, it's interesting how some of my Japanese friends or colleagues have different opinions, like really different opinions about some things pertaining to the house. One of them told me, okay, let me back up first. Inside the house, there is a shrine, a family shrine, which, for those of you who don't know, a lot of houses, maybe even some modern houses might have this. Some families maybe still do something like this, but especially the older traditional houses, whenever you go inside them, you'll notice that there's like an altar there, and in the altar they'll have some things, maybe incense, some pictures of relatives. You'll often see pictures in the house or nearby the altar of the old emperor. Some of these really old houses, the emperor and his wife, and you'll see some pictures of family members up on the wall. And basically, these have to be disposed of or moved, but they have to be properly removed. You can't just go in there, take all this stuff down, and throw it out. You can't do that. But the funny thing is, or when I say funny, I mean the interesting thing is that one of my Japanese friends, she said, "Why don't you just take that stuff out and burn it? It's none of your business." It sounds so harsh. Doesn't it? Doesn't it sound harsh? But another friend of mine, she said that I should be very respectful of those things and have them removed properly. I shouldn't just go in there willy-nilly and take them down. Even if I just take them down with respect and try to, throw them away or burn them or something. She said that's probably not good enough. I should have somebody like a proper priest or something like that come over to the house and do a ceremony to properly remove them. And I guess they will, if the owner doesn't take them, that is, if the owner doesn't take that stuff, which I don't think he's going to, maybe he'll just take the pictures. But normally, these are just left for the new owner to deal with. But a lot of people believe that they should be properly handled so that you don't upset or anger the spirits there or the ancestors or the house or anything like that. And, I don't follow that religion, but I do respect it, and I respect the energy that has been, put into not just that house, but into that shrine in that area. So my plan is to, contact somebody locally who's qualified to remove those things. That is, once I find out what the owner is going to do. If the owner is going to have all of those things removed and have a ceremony, that's great. I don't have to do that. I don't have to pay for it. But I'm just expecting to have to do that, which is fine. I will say that there is a picture hanging on the wall. I didn't really put it in the video because I didn't think it was very appropriate. But hanging on the wall near the shrine was actually a picture of, hang on a second, it's a little loud through here right now. Hanging on the wall close to the shrine was a picture of a Japanese soldier, and it's an old black and white picture, young guy standing in front of a fighter jet, so it looked like he was a pilot. Very strong, mixed emotions for me. As an American, I'm standing there looking at this picture, and I'm considering buying the house. I'm there to look at the house to buy, and I see that, and I can feel. Here I am in Hiroshima, And I'm looking at this house, and I think about what's happened in the past, the history between the countries. And here I am now, being able to live here and consider buying a house here. And to see that picture, it just makes me have a deepened and renewed gratitude and respect for the country, and being able to make my life here, start over in Japan, and just leave behind a lot of stuff that I'd been wanting to get away from for a long time. So it's interesting to see this old history that's older than me, and realize that these people's lives were ended very short, too short. And here I am. But the agent told the owner there was an American guy who's interested in buying his house, and he was happy to sell it to me because he found out that I wanted to renovate it. I want to restore it, and I want to make it really nice. And he was very happy about that. As far as I know, he seemed very happy about that. So, and he gave me a large discount on the price. And after telling you all that, I wanted to get back to the point of what one of my Japanese friends said. This is a guy that I know here locally. He said, "Why not just offer them zero, free house, should be just free." But I did remind him that the 300,000 price, the 300,000 price isn't just for the house, it's for the land too. And it's about 1,000 square meters of land. But he said that it's not in or really near the city, and the house itself causes the land to be worthless, which is funny because I don't see it that way. I think the house is very cool. But in his mind, the house should be, torn down. But since it's there, it makes the land basically worthless. So he thinks that I should go back and offer the man nothing. Just say, sign it over to me. I'll pay the taxes and the contract fees and all of that. And then it's a fair deal. But I thought, it doesn't really sound like my idea of what I should do. So I mentioned it to my Japanese teacher, my Nihongo no sensei. And I told her, she's been helping me with some interpretation and translation also regarding the house. And when I mentioned it to her, she gave me a really good answer. It made me feel better because my feeling was more similar to what she thinks. So I was glad that I asked her. But she said something to think about. She said, first of all, the owner probably doesn't want to sell this house. It's a family home, and it's a special place with special energy and memories. And obviously, the family's not able or willing or interested in moving back there or having a home there or anyone living there. But what can they do with it? Nothing really. So they've already discounted it largely, and probably there's some pain in having to let it go, especially if they have to go back over to the house to get anything. I mean, it could open up some old emotions, right? And they marked it down for me. They're selling it to an American guy. But, I said I want to renovate it, and I want to, I respect the place. I like it. I like the energy there. It has a life of its own. And she said, if you suddenly go back and you offer them nothing for the house, it could be that they are really hurt by this, and maybe even they canceled the deal. And she said, it's also possible that even if they say no deal, and then I say, okay, I'll pay the original price. She said it could be that they still refuse because they've been hurt by my counter offer. And everything she said is exactly the way I feel. I just feel that, I was originally looking at paying $1.2 million for this house, and I still think that, if I knew more detail about it, it still could be worth that. But at $300,000, I feel like it's just something I can't pass up. At the very least, I'll be able to get some good use out of this house, and my hope is to be able to restore much of it to its not only its former glory, but even better, just to make improvements that are really awesome. I've got a lot of ideas, and I'm not sure what all I can do or what all I'll be able to do, and I'm not even sure who's going to be able to help me. I still feel a little isolated here because I'm not in Tokyo. I'm not around a lot of friends, but I am slowly starting to make more friends, and I'm studying Japanese more now, so I am improving there. Yes. But anyway, there's a lot more I could say, but I think that since I've been talking so long, I'll just go ahead and stop right here. I think I'm tasting the cup noodles. Maybe I should have eaten those after I went for a walk. I don't know. But anyway, I guess that's all I want to share for now. That's all that was kind of on my mind. But I do want to give you a little more detail about the house and some time frames. I can tell you this. I have a driver's license exam next month. It'll be my first time to take the driver's license exam. I'm hoping to get that so that after I get the house, I'll be able to get some wheels and use that to help haul away some of the junk that's there. And that's pretty much it for now. I'll do another update later, but anyone who's interested, if you have some questions, specific questions about this whole process, like I said a while back, I'm no expert on this, but I do know what I've been having to do in order to find one and find an Akiya and get it, and the whole processes of it and everything that was involved. So if you have any questions about any of that, I'd be happy to try to answer them. If I don't know the question or the answer to the question, I'll try to refer you to somebody that's more knowledgeable, much more knowledgeable than I, or I will get the answer for you. But as far as what I'm doing, if you have any questions about that either, I would definitely be happy to answer those. Anyway, that's it for now. And after I get some questions, maybe I'll make another video to answer those questions. But until I actually get my hands on the key, which I'm not even sure there is a key for this house, there's not going to be a whole lot to show you. Hopefully very soon I'll get the opportunity to go back out there, and if I do, I'll do kind of a walk around and chat and show you some stuff. But we'll see. But for now, that's pretty much it. Lawson. Okay. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you later.